Money Talks.
Money Talk.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Hi, my name is Ibukun Oyedeji, President CFA Society Nigeria. Join me and a host of other financial industry practitioners for Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria.
Money Talks.
Money Talk.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money.
Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. This is the very first edition of the year 2025 and it's so good to have you. Smart Uzechi is my name. And this evening, just as we do every new year, is a very, very special edition and I'm going to tell you exactly why. And that's because we are hosting again, I think for the third time since we started this program, the president herself. I call her Madam President, like everybody else will call her around us. We have Mrs. Ibukun Oyedeji. She joins us on the program this evening. It's the first edition of the year 2025, and she's going to do the curtain raiser for us here this evening. So let's make welcome the President, CFA Society Nigeria, and a topmost banker, I would like to call her. She's here in the studio. I'll just leave it at that. Madam President,
Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year. Happy birthday in arrears. By the way, she celebrated her birthday on the 15th of January, 20. So she's fresh from that birthday celebration. Good to see you again. Congratulations on all fronts.
Thank you very much, Captain Smart. Good evening. I think Happy New Year to the listeners. And I think before we really start, I should say a big happy 50th birthday to you, Captain Smart.
Thank you very much.
I know most people don't know you turned 50, but now I made it public. Yes, happy 50th birthday.
Thank
It's
you.
really good to see, I'm a bit spiritual as a Christian, to see the glory of God around your life and to appreciate Him for what He has done on your journey so far. And so it's only natural for us, whilst we do this on the professional level, that we shouldn't forget who really is the source of everything we do, which is the Almighty God. So I want to say thank God for giving us this new year and thank Him for giving us the precious gift of you on radio.
Wow.
So happy 50th birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I never saw that coming. Thank you so much. And let me also say congratulations again for the end of the year party that you hosted in December. I mean, it was a deviation from all the Efiko-ish things, you know. People were like saying, oh, these people can actually party.
And party well.
And party well as well. People did not want to go, including you. I was told you were the last person to leave the hall. Where did you get all the energy from? I mean, that was a very beautiful occasion and I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Congratulations
much.
again.
Thank you. I think part of what we wanted to achieve, CFA generally has always been seen as a society of exam-focused people and
Hard exam.
Yes, it's I try not to tell people it's a hard exam. I try to say it requires grit, dedication and discipline. And if you're able to have those things, which is really what you need in life for you to be a professional, right? And if you're able to do that and dedicate time to it, you would be able to obviously pass the exams. But people just think we're ficos. So we wanted to show the world the other side of us on a lighter note. But really what we wanted to create was now have an industry event which brings all of us we believe we're one of the platforms that's the most neutral platform in the financial industry. So everyone coming doesn't feel associated with a brand, but instead we all see ourselves as one colleague trying to drive the growth of the financial industry, but yet be able to unwind, because networking is a very critical aspect of our finance industry. So creating that platform for everybody to mix, irrespective of the organization you work with in financial industry, was what we wanted to achieve. And it's in line with our strategy of being impactful and relevant as we drive the society forward. Thank you.
was a good one. They had Dibanj in the room, and
Don't show that side of us.
so you know what we're talking about. They had Dibanj in the room, good food as well, and it was okay to see that. You can join this conversation very shortly by calling the telephone number 0700-923-923-923. That's 0700-923-923-923. You can also send messages to us on WhatsApp. Feel free to also call the WhatsApp number 0817-313-6193. That's 0817-313-6193 to join the conversation. As I said, this is a curtain raiser. So Madam President Ibukun Oyedeji, she's going to be talking to us about what 2025 holds for this society and whatever else they have up their sleeves. Each year, there's an apprehension in my spirit. Oh, now that they have achieved so much, what are they going to do again in the new year? But they will go again and raise the bar. So I'll wait to hear what it is they're going to do. So you can call us, you can send messages on WhatsApp, you can also reach us via their social media handles, www.cfasocietyng.org. That's their website. Or you can go to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, or Instagram at CFA Society NG. You can just go there and make inquiries and find out more about the society. So, Madam President, let's get straight into it. As it has become the tradition now, with us every beginning of the year, you grace the program. You've been doing that for the past 3 years now, 2 years going to 3. We would like to know what plans, does the CFA have, CFA Society Nigeria, what plans do you have for your members and the public in general? Because this is not just about your members again. Your financial literacy program, which I've been doing now consistently, we're in the 8th quarter right now. So it benefits the public. What plans do you have 2025?
So, Captain Smart, one of the things, I think this is a very emotional interview or process for me. And the reason why I say that is probably going to be my last appearance on your radio show as the president of a CFA Society Nigeria. And that's because we're very big on governance. And as part of our governance process, I've been the president for the last 4 years. And it's very important that we hand over to the next board of governors. And that election process starts next month, of the month of February. And I'll be handing over in the month of March.
Wow.
So it's emotional for me because I think the birth of this program really came from you and I engaging and thinking about how the society wanted to give back, and us thinking very impactful would be us starting a financial literacy program sponsored by CFA and bringing the experts in the industry into the room to come and give whatever skills we have back to the society, because we've been privileged to have had the career path that we had, and we just believe everyone can contribute in their own little way to the society, to the Nigerian society. And this for us as a society, a CFA society, was something that was very important that we give back as our agenda for the 10th year anniversary, which was a CSR. So in line with that, a new board will be constituted, and we would, however, continue to drive the advocacy we've done. Financially, Tracy, we believe we'll continue to commit to it because it's big on our agenda. And for us to also ensure that we cover all the stakeholders we have as a society, our university outreach, which has been one of our most successful events. While we have this radio show as one, we've got different other programs that we work on. Either when you join us, for some people are the listeners that have actually succeeded in joining our leadership series. Our quarterly leadership series is one of the most successful on podcast, and that's because we are able to get the leaders, people we think are very successful, that have a successful career, mostly in finance, but globally, to come and talk to us about the journey of their success. That program, we believe, will continue. The journey of the success for some of them has actually benefited me directly. I mean, keywords like, okay, what does it mean for me to change my career? And I think the last person that spoke, Mr. Shegun Ogunsanya, said something that stuck with me, that I've said to everybody. Every employer must know the expiry dates in an organization.
Wow.
It may be 1 day, it may be 2 days, it may be 1 year, it may be 10 years. But when you know your value, the expiry date, your commitment or your value no longer is required in that organization, you must know it's time to get up and leave.
Wow.
That has stuck with me. And I think for me, I tell everybody that message because it's a strong message for every one of us in Nigeria. We should know when our impact, we need to hand over to the next person to be able to drive the next growth. And so it really aligns with where the board is, thinking for the next trajectory of the society, we need to hand over to the next board to take us to the next height of where the society needs to be.
Wow.
And that will be around a lot of initiatives which I'll be talking to you on later.
Every employment has an expiry date.
Every employee.
Yeah. The employment
okay.
has an expiry date, so every employee should know that expiry date. Wow, that's key. If you stay beyond the expiry date, then that
your value is no longer required,
Wow.
and then your value diminishes.
that one deserves an applause, and it gets its care.
I won't take credit for it. I won't take credit for that. I borrowed it on the quarterly leadership series by Mr. Shegun Kuswanya.
But for the one that you said is going to be your last appearance as the president of the society, it will get this.
But I think I'll be leaving the society in very capable hands. And the reason why I say that is because we've got a pool of professionals, very astute, that are able, because they've been successful in their individual careers and they've been able to achieve a lot in their own field. And it's really a strategic role I play as a president of the society. And I believe most of those people in their positions also run a strategic role in the organization. It's good to refresh.
Yeah.
It's really good to refresh thoughts. And I think, really, I believe the society is equipped enough to elect, because it's an election process we go through. So it's fair.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be able to elect who they believe will be the person to take them on the next trajectory. And I'll be more than available to support whoever this person is.
Whoever the person is going to be, he or she has their work cut out for them, and whatever they do, that party at the end of the year, please don't touch it.
But there are other more important events.
I don't want to hear that there's no budget for it. Just leave it the way it is. If you can't make us fatter, just leave us how we are when you come in. So you have actually achieved a lot as the president of this society over the period you've been there. Of course, one of your achievements is what we're doing now, this financial literacy program. You have many initiatives, as the president, as the society, investment clubs that you've established across Nigerian universities. Tell us more about this particular initiative.
Okay, let me take a step back. When I took over for about almost 4 years now ago, my commitment was what I said earlier. I want to make sure everything we do has an impact. It was my theme was basically impact and relevance. And those are the two words that guide every decision and the initiative the society has launched since I became president. If it's not impactful, we won't do it. If it's not relevant to our stakeholders, we will not do those initiatives. And quickly down the line, we wrote out, or just to identify who our stakeholders were. And it was very important that we know that the stakeholders need to be the various segments in which we serve, in which the finance industry serves. And one of them is whether we're the regulators, we're the people that regulate our markets, our employers, our employees, the employees who are our members. We also think as well our future, the investors, which are the general public, who invest in the securities or in the instrument the financial industry deals with, which is why we brought this radio program to them, so that they're educated on the ABC of finance and they can make the right decision, informed decision about their investments. But also important to us was the fact that we thought at this stage we need to think about the future of the finance industry. And the future means that we need to think of the future professionals. So we started to be able to address this pool of people that begin to have the skills to come into the financial industry. We started the university investment clubs. We already had initiatives with the universities around ethics challenge, where we bring them to compete, and research challenge, which takes them on the international platform. Whoever wins goes to a European country to contest, which we've done for about 5, 6 years, 7 years now.
Wow.
But investment clubs was what we thought had a wider reach, because while that process I'd mentioned earlier only has about 5 to 6 students from each university coming in, we believe the investment clubs gives us a wider reach and a deeper reach to the students and gets us closer to them, getting them ready to be employable in the financial industry. So the investment clubs are student-led. They're registered with their universities. We don't get involved in that process for governance reasons. What we do as a society is get them to be ethically standard across the universities. So we provide global standards for them. How do you operate as a global standard investment club? How do you get the skills that is required in a global organization equip you to be able to work in the Nigerian sector? Remember, I'm using the word global because I'm not setting a Nigerian standard for them. We are putting them on a global platform. It's interesting, some of the students now work in organizations, for people that know them, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, World Bank. Some of them are in Harvard Business School now. Really proud of all the initiatives we've done to support them to actually get them there. So for them, by the time we prepare these students in the investment club, they do all the skills that we do in our real sector. While they teach them the theory in school, we bring the practical to them for them to be market ready. And as they approach the markets, it makes it easier for them to actually be able to integrate into these organizations. So we've also become a pool of recruitment for people that really want top talents in the industry, in the financial industry.
Well, it's usually a briefing, the first one for the year. So you just soak it in. All of the information Madam President always brings here. So just soak it in. But in case you have any inquiries you want to make, or you want to talk to us about anything that she's been talking about, or you have questions to ask about the society, you can just call us on the telephone 0700-923-923-923. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp 0817-313-6193. You can call the WhatsApp number as well if you have any need to do that. Pastor Kolade Paul, we can see your message here. You said, I'm here to make some inquiries. Yeah, go ahead, make your inquiries. We'll take them. Just go ahead and make your inquiries 0700-923-923-923, or you can send us a message on WhatsApp 0817-313-6193. Madam President, you just have about 400 members, globally here in Nigeria, and many of these your members are scattered all over the world. So one will now wonder how your members help the society to achieve these missions and objectives you are talking about here, considering the number you have, working with you here in Nigeria.
So it's really interesting. Most times people don't realize that we're that small in terms of our registered numbers, the people that have qualified, because like you said earlier, the exam is very tough. Yeah. So it takes a lot of disciplines, called the gold standard of exams in investment in the investment world. So the thing is, because we're few, we had to be very strategic about how to make use of the resource we have in terms of our numbers to achieve the goal we want. Like on the radio, we're sure being on Inspiration was a strategic one for us because the reach is wide. I don't know how many number of viewers you have that listen to this program. On our quarterly leadership series, we have over 15,000 people that are on our mailing list that are listening, that dialing to listen to this thing. And on podcast, they keep listening to it, which is why I put it even after the program on podcast. So we're very strategic with it. How we operate is we operate in committees, and we operate in those committees. We believe there's certain areas that are very important. Remember I said our stakeholders were very critical to us. One big stakeholder that we believe is the regulator, because they regulate the market and they drive the direction of the market. So we believe our advocacy is extremely important to us. And when we do the advocacy, we engage with the market players, we engage with the regulators and tell them what's best practice globally. And based on that, they share our thoughts. And because we know we're probably one of the most neutral parties and that don't have we're not a trade group, so we're not trying to pursue any particular interest, because our members are all over the different segments of the financial industry, so they know we're coming with a neutral view on how to improve our market. So we've been some voice that they listen to in terms of advocacy. I've spoken about the university outreach, and we also engage employers, because like I said, from the pool of students we get, the employers also come to us as a source of resource for skills We all know after the Jackpot syndrome, we struggle in Nigeria to find good skills. So we're one of the people they rely on to say, oh, with the quality of the output, we believe we rely, obviously, I've been going through that rigor, that we would get good quality employees in this organization. So we also have that happening. So we have that committee as well, running advocacy, university relations, we have employee, and we also have programming, because now strategically we think about those programs that we want to put out there, because this is run by a committee, by the way, subcommittee, for them to select the person that's going to come on air, for them to select the quality of the person. We do a profile of the person, make sure they meet, because we're very big on ethics.
Yeah.
And we don't want any question on the question. We don't want a question mark on the people that we put on radio. They may not be your most popular names, but we want to make sure they have the skills and they're saying the right thing to deliver the message that is necessary for the man on the street. And so we're very conscious of that. And that's the ethical value in which we run with.
That's most important. This writer here says, please, when, where, and how can one become a member? We're going to take that with this call and a message that is here. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you so much for calling.
My name is Fire Williams, and I have been enjoying the discussion. I just wanted to know from your guests, how are they reaching out to the SME population? Because in Nigeria, SMEs contribute about 50% GDP and offer about 80% of the jobs. But when you talk about record keeping, best practices, financial management, I'm sure we are not quite where we should be. So how does the society reach out to this large chunk that should not be left behind? That's the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Williams. And you listen to this one.
Good evening, Captain Smart. Good evening, Mrs. Ibukun Oyedeji. My name is James Obuna from Oshodi. I remember the first time I heard her voice was on this same show. And the first time I would meet you physically was at that CFA conference in 2023. I still have the picture that I took with you. Very interesting time, I must say. And I think I benefited a lot from CFA, even though I'm yet to write the exam and become a member of CFA for obvious reasons. But at least I made some friends that we are still friends till today. I want to say that you've been somebody that I look up to, looking at your track record and everything you've done for CFA. I tried inviting you for a program, a conference, and I got across to Mr. Yemi, but he said, unfortunately, that you wouldn't be able to attend. So I don't know, now that you are leaving, can somebody invite you in personal capacity, not as CFA president again, but as somebody?
Okay, James, your voice note is beginning to veer off what we're talking about. Interesting question by Dr. Williams right there. And we're running out of time, so I'd like you to combine that question with when they say CFA, they say making finance a force for good. Is a famous byline of the CFA Society here in Nigeria. So when you answer Mrs. Williams' question about how you help SMEs, you tell us how your society makes finance a force for good. I think there's another call here. I don't know. Okay, we lost that call. Yeah.
So let me just quickly address. I think the three are interwoven in the sense that how do we make finance a force for good? We make it a force for good with the initiatives that we've pushed out. I've spoken about most of those initiatives for people that are still listening, either with our advocacy. When we talk about advocacy, we try to look at the rules and regulation and see how much that impacts to the good of the society, the people. Number two, this program is another example. This is a way for us to reach, to address Dr. Williams' question as well. This is a very good way because really, I believe at the heart of every SME is a CEO.
Yeah.
And that CEO sitting in this room listening to this program, it really helps them because we've covered budgeting. We've told the people how to learn how to plan. We've talked about financial planning. We've talked about tax. We've talked with almost every aspect. We even went personal. We've gone on now, how do you manage your own personal investment? We've talked about will, something that all of us don't like talking about in Nigeria. We've talked about transfer of wealth to the next generation. So we've addressed every aspect of a human life. Because at the center of an SME is a CEO that's a human. And so through this program, I believe with all these initiatives that we have, when we address the heart of any organization, you kind of reach out to the whole SME community. And when I say that, if individuals within the community now believe that there's a need, a special need, that where they think society we can't just pick one SME because it's a big one. The banks are doing a fantastic, I'm a banker, I'm sure you know that. The banks are doing a fantastic job hand-holding SMEs. We are a platform, a not-for-profit organization. We don't get involved in profitability of any sort. We just advocate, we use our voice to improve the Nigerian financial industry to be able to serve the general public. And so, very quickly, just to round up, the force for good is all those initiatives that I've spoken to, and it's addressed through the various targets. And remember what I said: impact, relevance, CFA society, the force for good, based on this line. Thank you.
All right, we'll just have about
I'm just conscious of your time, so I'm
90 seconds left.
Yeah.
I would like you to answer this question very quickly. When this program started, the society just clocked 10 years. So looking forward now, let's do forward thinking now. Where do you see the society in her journey towards her second decade, even as you exit as the president of the society?
So, like I said, I'll still be part of the society.
Of course.
And I will be sitting as ex-officio. So the last president sits on the board as ex-officio, just to guide the direction of the society. As we are now, we position ourselves for significant growth. We know we will. Interestingly, like you said earlier, there's always something new we're going. Now we want to do something just really because of the time. We'll continue to grow in Nigeria, we'll continue to make an impact, but more interesting, we're going to the rest of Africa, West Africa. So now the next phase for us is to have this impact and relevance in other countries within West Africa. So we're going to the neighboring countries to drive this initiative. Thank you.
Wow, that's expanding. And of course, we hope that even when you go upstairs, you still find time to come to the radio to dish out this wisdom that you usually bring when you come here.
I'll come as a guest.
Yes. Not
Speaker,
this one, you're coming once in a year.
Not as president of CFA Society Nigeria, but as one of the speakers, if it's necessary. If the topic of the day has something to do with what they need my skills for, I'll be happy to do that.
Another question that popped in here, it says, wanted to ask a question on how an SME can access the opportunity of getting quality staff, from them, because you spoke about this. I think this question will be answered offline.
For SME, it will be expensive for you to hire a CFA charter holder.
Wow.
It will be very expensive.
Wow.
I won't tell you that that's where you should get quality staff from, because these are professionals. These are CEOs, C-suite people in the banking sector. So it will be expensive. That's why I said we bring our skills to this table to actually make a difference. So I'm not sure in terms of recruitment, that's where we do, because these people are sitting in very, very strategic, but it's us bringing their skills to educate the SMEs or educate the market.
Wow. C-suite. That's it. So you have to keep your money right there. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ibukun Oyedeji, President, CFA Society Nigeria, top banker here in Lagos. I don't want to make the announcement. We're going to have to wait for the regulator to make the announcement. So I'm not worthy to make the announcement. So we'll wait for that one. But you will hear her, you will see her around. And I thank God you're closer to us right now. So that's very important for me. Thank you so much for coming, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Captain Smart. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us.
That's our package today. Join us again. We have started for the year 2025. We're back here on Monday next week at 4:30 p.m. See you then.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Talks, hosted by the CFA Society Nigeria. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube at CFA Society Nigeria. Follow us for more financial insight and updates. Keep a date with us next time.